Previously on Legends of Aelos, we return in the dead of night, the party awakening from their rest in preparation to storm the tower to free Jathril from his captivity by the Shadowed Hand and uproot their foothold in the area. After a moment of preparation and a message to Coria in case things go awry, they begin the stealthy approach to the ruined tower and their goal. Upon arriving, they detect the presence of a sentry, and though he is napping currently, he would pose an issue that needs dealing with before they can search for an entrance to venture into the underlevels of the tower. Asher assumes a small arachnid form to act as a scout and potential distraction, while Dom and Rowan work their way to an undamaged portion of the level above the guard. Unfortunately, they are unable to gather enough reconnaissance to devise a plan before the guard awakens, resuming his duties after he relieves himself. Rowan is almost spotted as he ascends, and Asher is able to distract the guard with a bit of silk. Unfortunately, Asher's distraction completely draws the attention of the guard to himself, and a swift boot smashes Asher out of his arachnid form and back into a human, much to the shock of the guard. Rowan follows up on the shocked guard with Grizzy's knife from a distance as Asher spouts a flame burst into his face, and Rowan grapples the guard, muffling him from behind, and attempts to silence the guard with another strike of the knife before Karun deals the final blow with a radiant flame. The guard now dispatched and the entry secured, their stealth seems to be uncompromised. They begin their trek down into the depths of the tower until they happen upon the voices of other, assumed Shadowed Hand members. The melee fighters approach as silently as possible to the guards, who are distracted enough by their current task for the initial attacks, and the party is able to dispatch them as the rogues realize their situation all too late. The group continues their efforts maintaining stealth, but it becomes apparent as they descend that those further below have taken notice and are awaiting whomever their surprise guests might be. There is a slight attempt to perpetuate the ruse when the guards confirm the presence of the party, though they realize the point is moot, and instead the party commits to the clash as combat proper ensues. The guards are eliminated, including the stealth combatants and veiled beasts, and as the party moves ever lower, they take notice of peculiar floating crystals that are chained to the floors and walls of the room. The closer they get to the next chamber, the ambient lighting grows crimson, and as they enter, they again come face to face with Grim and his croonies. Grim attempts a chastising insult regarding his slaying of Ace, but after he realizes Dom's presence before him, he is compelled to act, seeking to make sure that those he kills remain dead. The five square off against the hulking polearm wielder and his cohorts, the caster tucking away behind a wall, while the acrobat is suspiciously unobserved at the inception of combat. Grim proves to be all that his imposing form implies, with his strong sweeping attacks as the roguish assassin reveals himself, making an attack upon Briar. The combat is brutal, but the first to fall is Grim, and poetically at the hands of Dom, who gives Grim a literal taste of his own medicine to help accelerate his passing. While the other melee fighters contend with the warlock, Karun casts out heals to himself, Briar, and Rowan, but this draws the attention of the remaining rogue, who casts down attacks swiftly at Karun and attempts to stave off his opponent's rejuvenation capabilities, and Karun falls to the floor. But as Karun falls, so too does the caster, the warlock falling to Rowan's blades, and Asher is able to revive Karun as Dom and the others turn their attention to the remaining roguish member of the Shadowed Hand. Karun stands, and as he does so, he aims up and delivers a final blow, a guiding bolt in retaliation at his attacker, and with the impact, the final member of Grim's crew falls dead to the floor below him. With the Shadowed Hand here now properly dealt with, the five continue on into the final chambers of the tower, eventually happening upon Jathril, worse for wear, but still alive. Princess Coel of Eswin and the hand of the king Hargar are also found in the next room, but more surprisingly, another unanticipated prisoner is discovered chained along with Jathril, when the party finds Martizan captive as well. Despite the outcome of their last encounter, they bring him along as they escape the dank underbelly of the tower to be greeted by the fresh early morning air topside. With the deadly night now past and the captives freed, the party and entourage rest where they had last camped, and afterwards the fated five will begin their journey back towards town and eventually on to the next chapter in their adventure. And it is from here we shall continue the story of the Legends of Aelos.